Hello everyone, we are getting ready to go live with Kinetic Chaos podcast number 45. I'm waiting for the feed to come up real quick on my page here, and there it is. With that, we will start just 3, 2. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Kinetic Chaos podcast number 45. We are joining you from the secret underground bunker outside above ground, so we're not so secret. We are joined today by a new person to Kinetic Chaos. I'm sorry, I'm jumbling my words. I'm not going to kill the episode though, because we've got a lot of stuff going on. Jon Keith, who is our newest member with David, Wes's dad, for the Tech 2 podcast that's starting. How we doing, Jon?
Really good. It's really nice outside here today.
We are excited to have you, and we're joined as always by Wes as well.
Here I am, right here.
Humble co-host. We're barbecuing. We just finished up our very first Kinetic cooking show live. I'm jumbling my words. I've been so mad at the stupid GarageBand for the last 15 minutes that evidently my mind is all eggs right now. So we've got some chicken wings and a whole chicken on the barbecue right now that we're going to be checking out. But why don't we give everyone that wasn't watching Kinetic Cooking a little background on you real quick, Jon?
Oh yeah, sure. So I actually am Wes's cousin.
Yes, indeed.
And so I'm going to be doing the Tech 2 podcast with my uncle, David Robertson. And I'm looking forward to that. It's we both have a technical background. We both have engineering training. We both worked in the world of engineering, but we both love tech. And so we're excited to be talking about topics on a weekly basis. And for half an hour, we're gonna bring you things that are happening in the tech world and try and relate them to your life. Try to bring it to you in a kind of a high level, digestible way, but relate it to what's going on and what it means to you as you come across these terms. Everything from net neutrality to Bitcoin, that's a big one, to just some new computers that are coming out, Macintoshes, those sorts of things.
That's
so we want to run the gamut.
And as we were talking about, really, you also have we've got new mic stands here, and this is all like way crazy to have this right actually in front of my face. But you're on another podcast called California Streaming that focuses kind of on the California resident type thing. Am I right, kind of?
That's exactly right. So myself and a couple of buddies, Louie and Bobby, we are 3 individuals who live in the Central Coast of California, but don't necessarily subscribe to the typical California politics, which makes for a lot of fun discussions because in this day and age, California is passing things, bills, new laws, hot and heavy. And so we have content every week. We do the podcast and they come out every Wednesday morning.
Awesome.
And so for an hour, we just talk about, sometimes we talk about a federal issue, but we haven't found ourselves talking about federal issues much lately because they just seem to be coming out with laws left and right in California.
There's just so much content to keep you burning the midnight oil down there that you don't even need to go federal.
No
right?
question. Just recently, and Wes and I did a Kinetic Chaos special edition kind of podcast this morning. And we got to talk about, I started the podcast off talking about the fact that I can't use plastic straws or plastic bags anymore, so I made sure I had a plastic straw and a plastic bag on our episode. So I wanted to hold some illegal contraband while I was recording. So that's what we did.
That is awesome. And yeah, to remind everyone, you guys did do a special podcast this morning that you did on Facebook, or you dropped on Facebook.
It's on Facebook now. Yeah, we didn't have an audio-only version, so we'll be dropping the video. Video is already dropped on Facebook, and we'll be uploading it to our website as well, and YouTube.
Yeah, I'll be loading those up tomorrow. And you want to give everyone kind of a hint, as maybe expand just a little bit more on what you guys talked about this morning?
It was a lot of fun. We kind of went back and forth on the differences and similarities, depending on some of the areas of the states we're talking about, between Washington, where we're recording right now, obviously, and California, where I'm from.
Yeah, so we talked about, we first gave some basic background info, demographic-wise, population, income, housing prices, all that kind of stuff, gave the high-level stuff, and then we broke it down into, I think, 5 or 6 main talking points, varying from wildfires to homelessness to
transportation boondoggles projects,
all that kind of stuff, and just kind of
just to nowhere,
kind of sharing stories and similarities between those kinds of issues between our 2 states, California and Washington.
That sounds awesome. I actually haven't had a chance to listen to it yet, so I'm really looking forward to listening to that. And I'm going to see if I can find a way to extract the audio out of that and drop it into a podcast so that everyone can get that on the iTunes and things
the
like that.
audio only people. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, well, as we always do, we start with something good that happened to us since the last podcast. I'm going to have Wes start this, and John, if you can come up with something that's just good happened to you, and I'm going to run over and check on the chicken wings real quick. Go ahead, Wes.
I got two good things that happened since our last podcast. The first is that we booked a friend of the show, Larry Hoff, to come back for his third interview. That'll be 3 weeks from today. Is when he's coming back on, and we'll have a roundtable discussion, kind of similar to our setup now. We've got an extra mic all lined up now, so we can have a legit roundtable discussion like we're having now. It'll be great to have Larry back on to do that. And the second good thing is that my cousin's up here visiting, and we get to do a roundtable with him, and we had a lot of fun doing our podcast this morning that Will already talked about, and then doing our little 1 hour hit with grilling and talking about grilling techniques and the different styles of grills and all that kind of stuff. And I learned a lot. I mean, I'm certainly no self-proclaimed, grilling and smoking expert, but I thought I knew.
I think you are.
I thought I knew a decent amount, but even listening to Will talk, I learned a lot more this afternoon. So that was cool. So having a lot of fun with that.
That's great.
And so yeah, you got anything good in the last recent times?
So first off, I'd have to agree with my cousin Wes. This has been kind of cool to be able to come up here. We talked about these podcasts kind of offline and over FaceTime, those sorts of things. So it's been really cool to be able to be here with you guys and actually do some podcasts live in the special edition we did this morning. The other thing that's pretty cool is one of the other reasons I'm up here is I get to see my grandma, Wes's grandma as well. And got to see her. She's been up here for the last couple years. I used to get to see her a little more frequently since she lived in Southern California. But over the last couple years, she's been up here, and I don't get to see her as much. So this morning, I got to see her, and it was cool. Got to spend some time with her and chat with her. So that's definitely a good thing that happened.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, and I mean, I think it's really exciting to have, and I don't know why, but for some reason I keep forgetting about the fact that you guys are cousins.
Related?
Yeah, I've twice now when I've introduced you, John,
No,
I've
that's okay.
completely spaced
That's
that,
okay.
and I have to apologize for that. So I have to say, for myself, I think that it's awesome that we just had that show, the grilling show, and
It was cool.
I mean, the feeling that I get out of that stuff is this was the first time we'd ever done that. For me, I mean, I've done a little, Wes and I've done some stand-up type stuff, but that was just awesome. What did we get, 52 minutes, you said?
About 52, I think is what we ran on that, so almost a full hour. I think we were kind of thinking a half an hour-ish, and it just kind of happened and kept flowing, and then we did an awesome job, I think.
Whoa, Bronx, your tail, holy moly, dog, you're gonna knock us offline here. No, but it was a lot of fun. John, I mean, you and I had known each other for 30 minutes.
Real pretty quick, up to speed take on the differences of some of the current grilling techniques.
And
it's
that's
pretty cool.
And that's what we hope to expand on as we kind of jump into this more and more is for Wes and I, unfortunately you won't be up here to partake in the awesome grilling, but it's just, we enjoy the food part of it. Obviously you can tell that we wear it well, but it's more than that. It's just having that fun discussion. I mean, it was just like the three of us standing around, kind of like, what was that, King of the Hill, three guys standing around. You guys had beers and I had a soda, and we were just having a good time, and it just so happened that there was a camera on us. But I just want to thank you two so much for that. It was an incredible experience, and I can't wait to continue to build upon that.
And it was a tasty experience.
It was. And to give you guys a little bit that aren't watching and unfortunately have to listen to, not unfortunately, but you don't get to see the barbecue rolling in the background right now. We've got some sausages that have already come off. We had some Zenner's bacon and cheddar sausages that were those were on point. We had some bratwurst here. We have some bacon wrapped chicken wings that, frankly, boys, I'm going to go get us some plates, and we're going to pull those bad boys off, and we're going to have some wings.
I'm not going to stop you from doing that.
Okay. And then we've also got a whole chicken that we're doing a little teriyaki on as well. So I'm going to put some teriyaki on some of the wings just for fun.
I like that.
But we're, so, I mean, how can you beat this? Sitting out in this 80 degree weather, rolling barbecue, great guys, great content, all kinds of fun. So with that, let's get into our very first good news story, or our good news story of the day. We've got a World War II vet that celebrated his 100th birthday by skydiving.
Wow.
Yeah, kind of a cool backstory behind this guy is that he's not new to skydiving. He was a part of the 101st Airborne and took part in D-Day.
No kidding.
He was a paratrooper back in the day.
Wow.
And he has several hundred jumps under his belt. And but since he obviously retired from the military a long time ago, he hadn't jumped since. And so that would be, I don't know, what, 60 years ago, something like that was the last time, 60, 70 years ago, yeah. Anyway, so for his 100th birthday, he thought, hey, what the heck, I want to skydive again, I want to jump again for my 100th birthday. So the other interesting fact is that, and you see this if you watch military documentaries or movies or whatever, that when all those guys in the military, all the paratroopers bail out of the planes, they've got the ripcord attached.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as they jump, it
Yeah.
pulls the chute for them automatically.
Yeah.
And so that's what he was used to. He has never done a free fall before.
He's never pulled his own
He's
cord.
never pulled his own ripcord before.
Wow.
So he said this was the first experience of him jumping out of the plane, free falling for a while, and then pulling the ripcord. He had never done that. He was always attached to the line, and he'd jump out and his chute would deploy immediately. So he never had experienced that a true free fall before.
Wow. Now, did he tandem jump or did he?
He did tandem jump.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I was kind of wondering how the
Yeah. 100 years old.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was tandem. Yeah.
I'm going to give him all the credit in the world
no
for the fact
question.
that he jumped out of a damn plane, let alone at 100 years old. But doing it on his own, I don't know that I would want to do that myself. So, but hey, that is amazing to have somebody, pull off a 100-year-old and do that.
Yeah, no, that's unbelievable.
I can't. I mean, hey, I just hope that at 80 years old, I'm in good enough shape. We've talked about, me and the Hunter S. Thompson look at how we want to come skidding into the end of life. So I don't know if I'll make it to 100. I'm going to call it 80, but I think that would be pretty cool. Would you do something like that?
Skydive?
Yeah.
I'm ready to go right now.
All right. Have you ever done that, Jeff?
I've never done it. I know people. We actually have a cousin who's done it.
Really?
I've never done it myself, but everyone I've talked to that's done it says
Yeah.
it's the best.
I've got a couple of cousins that have done it, and they just absolutely loved it. They couldn't wait to get back up there. One of them was kind of scared, the other one wasn't, I think. But, I mean, I'm 50-50. I'm not a heights guy. You put me 200 miles an hour on the ground, I'm all for it.
Sure.
I don't know about jumping 20 feet off the ground, let alone 20,000 or 2,000.
Yeah.
Probably not 20,000. So,
But it's up there.
oh yeah, I'm sure. How far do they jump? How
It
high
varies. I don't know what the standard casual skydiver jumps at. I want to say probably 2,000 to 3,000.
I was going to say in the
maybe.
thousands of feet,
Yeah.
but because they don't want to go too high for oxygen.
Yeah,
and
but I mean, there's the crazy extreme skydivers that'll
Kilos
go
or
way up
whatever.
there. Yeah.
Or the people. I mean, I know around here you guys got a bunch of bridges. I don't know how high they are, but you
yeah.
got those people too, right? That are jumping off.
Oh,
of
well, we have
bridges.
bungee jumping.
the
Well,
big-
we
There you
got
go.
Toledo right up up I-5, and I think they've got some east of us
Yes.
as well, don't
Yeah.
they?
There you go.
That's awesome. Well, let's jump into the hot seat. I had to do it, even though
You did.
I can't. I mean, we're talking about jumping. I have to. Well, we've got. I'm gonna sneak away and grab some of those wings off there for us. But we've got Brett Kavanaugh. Go ahead, Wes.
So, as anybody has been paying attention to the news the last few days, we are currently in the hearings for Brett Kavanaugh for the next Supreme Court Justice of the United States. This is day 3 of 3. Supposedly, it's only supposed to run the 3 days. This is supposed to be the final day. And it has not been short on hysterics and circus-related antics, and it's been nuts from the get-go, from day one.
Definitely.
Basically, the first who's the chairman?
Grassley.
Chuck Grassley. He couldn't even get through his opening statement without an outburst from all the paid protesters, and I guarantee you those guys are paid.
Organized, no question.
Yeah.
They got contacted ahead of time, and all of them got.
And it was it turned into an absolute circus, and it's an embarrassment that we have to put up with this. And my thing that I raised, I think off the air, I talked about maybe even last night, is that in a normal Senate hearing on Capitol, or not even a hearing, but an open Senate debate on the floor, the public is. I mean, you have to go through screening and stuff like that. But there is public that is allowed up in the galleries, up in the viewing areas. And if there's outbursts, not only are you removed, but I think after a certain number, like 2 to 3 outbursts, they just say, "That's it. You're done. You're all out of here."
That's right. They cleared the gallery.
They clear the gallery. There's, we're not going to be putting up with this garbage anymore. So the fact that they don't do this for the Senate, for the SCOTUS hearing, for the SCOTUS confirmation hearing, there it is. Will is showing the wings on camera for those of you who aren't watching live. the fact that they don't do that for the SCOTUS hearings, it just opens itself up into be just straight debauchery. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It seemed like every a couple minutes there would be an outburst, and yes, they remove that person from the gallery, but they leave all the other yahoos in there. So 2 minutes later, somebody else starts yelling, and it was literally, I think it was 5 or 6 hours down the road before Kavanaugh even opened his mouth, pretty much, because they had so many interruptions.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I didn't watch it.
It's hard for me too to tell which was the bigger embarrassment, the actual protesters or the grandstanding and jockeying done by some of the senators who are looking to run in 2020.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad.
And there's two major offenders, and Jon has Jon has good close knowledge of one of them being a senator of his state.
Yeah. So our two current senators, there's Dianne Feinstein, which I refer to her along with other people I know. We refer to her as the crypt keeper. I think she's like 80 something, and the whole joke is if she gets reelected, which is going to be interesting because in our state, in the way it works, she's running against another Democrat. But if she gets reelected, she'll be 90 years old.
Are you kidding me?
90 plus if she gets reelected by the time she's done with her next term.
6-year term.
Yeah, no, that's right. But the other senator is Kamala Harris, and this is somebody who the Democratic Party just a lot of people are eyeing as a potential 2020 candidate. So she's definitely one of them who has been very vocal, very disruptive as a senator, with Chuck Grassley trying to continually bring up points of order and interrupt and change the course of how the hearing's going. It's been her, and the other one is Cory Booker,
New Jersey, I believe, right? Is he Jersey?
That's right. That's right.
He's from Jersey?
Yeah.
And you're exactly, I had no idea Feinstein was that old.
Oh,
I had no idea.
The crypt keeper.
Yeah.
That is hilarious. But it's, for me, the grandstanding that you're talking about is one of the biggest issues I have with the whole process of, you need a plate? You got one?
I got one here. No,
Get some wings, bud. The whole process of when we watched, we got some bacon wrapped chicken wings, by the way. How are they? Are they hot?
Fantastic.
Too hot? Okay, good. The whole process of when they put Zuckerberg up there.
Yeah.
It is like it's an infomercial for them, and like you said, for their political aspirations in the future. And I didn't watch Kavanaugh's hearing. Full disclosure, but I'm so familiar with watching all of these that you just see, and they're completely, they're lost in what they're talking about, especially with Zuckerberg, and I'm sure with Kavanaugh. They go up there and they want to use big words, things that they think sound impressive, that make them, to their base, sound big and fancy.
And you bring up a good point when you're talking about their base. One of the criticisms levied against them is basically a fundraising campaign. Right? They're up there, they're spouting their stuff, and then that evening, they're forming that into an email, sending it out to their constituents.
No, it's Cory Booker that
there
did
you
that.
Go.
He spun that into a fundraising email like the same day.
Are you kidding me?
He's using his grandstanding to draw attention to himself, and then he's pumping his constituents for money. So it's just ridiculous.
And and you guys, and we won't belabor this anymore because we could go on. We could have an 8-hour podcast, I think, on this with the two of you. This is your guys' wheelhouse. I'm into politics,
sure,
and I'm more into it in the fact that watching them do that is such a disaster.
Yes.
And regardless of political side, because Republicans, all of them,
they're all guilty.
Absolutely are guilty of it. They're up there. They're so self-serving that you lose faith in what they're doing.
That's right.
And our whole process. If this is going to be like, we were talking about Rogan's podcast yesterday, and the first 6 minutes of it was commercials. This is what the confirmation hearings feel like. I bet.
That's exactly right.
It's one big commercial, and then what did you say? 5 hours into it, Kavanaugh got to say something.
He spoke like bits and pieces here and there, but the first time he actually got to make a full statement of more than 2 or 3 words was literally probably 4, 5, 6 hours into the hearing before he actually got to speak at length.
That is crazy.
And this is a hearing for him.
In theory,
you're supposed to be learning about him and grilling, questioning him, and he didn't even get to talk for the first 4 or 5 hours. How, because everybody else is too busy grandstanding.
How are we the reason they put these on TV is so that we can understand what this guy's about, as well as the senators and everyone that's up there. But if he's not talking, we're not learning.
Right.
And not to take it onto a tangent, but the same thing is with presidential debates anymore, right? I mean, this is the new norm. Mm-hmm. Is anytime they televise this stuff, it's all soundbite material. Yep. It's all high level. It's all campaigning. Mm-hmm. It's not actually to answer questions you and I might have.
No, because our questions, we're the little people.
Right.
We don't matter.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we're not going to belabor this.
Right,
we can bring you on. We'll have you on again soon, and hope maybe we can, once we get technologically advanced enough, we can, get you set up so that we bring, remotely bring you on, exactly. So, well, our number 2 here, and I'm going to crank down the smoker just a little bit, but we got Brazil's National Museum was destroyed by fire. That's not a good book.
Yeah, pretty sad deal. The backstory on this is it's a 200-year-old museum that housed 20 million artifacts. I think I talked to John off air. I misquoted that number earlier. But they had 20 million artifacts in this museum, including multiple Egyptian mummies, the oldest human fossil from the Western Hemisphere.
Diane Feinstein.
There you go. Was in this museum. Many of these 20 million items are priceless, and they obviously a 200-year-old building wasn't built with a fire suppression system or sprinkler system, and they had been having a lot of financial trouble funding for the museum, so they were actively doing a fundraising campaign at the time this happened for capital improvement of the building, including a fire suppression system. And before they could raise enough funds to do it, here we go, where they caught fire and they lost everything. It's a complete gut job. All 20 million artifacts are basically gone. Everything's gone.
That is incredibly sad. Any idea if there's arson in it?
Exactly.
Yeah, I sourced probably 5 or 6 different articles the last few days. Even last night I went back looking again to double check, and still no mention of cause.
Wow. Well, I'm hoping maybe they'll bring in somebody from outside to do some kind of investigation, because there may or may not be some corruption in that area of the world.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, exactly.
It would be neat to get an independent third party to go in there with some high-tech stuff and really check it out.
It's interesting. It's one of those things you don't really think of, or an area or a city that you think of having a museum with that sort of. I mean, you hear like the British Museum, right? Because over time, right, they were in so many areas around the world that brought so many things back to their museum in their country. But
Brazil's kind of off.
It's interesting.
One for them to have mummies. I mean, that is it's neat, and the fact that they had 20 million artifacts that were cataloged, I'm sure, that they lost, and to not have a fire suppression system in 2018 with, I mean, hell, they had the World Cup there.
Yeah,
right.
They have the Olympics there.
Oh wow, that's right.
And they don't have a fire suppression system in the one thing that can show their history. I mean, hopefully they have other museums, but that's, wow, you'd think maybe before they built a stadium they'll never use again, they would throw in some fire extinguishers or something.
Yeah.
That's terrible. Well, we've got Google at number 3 here in the hot sheet, and they're secretly paying MasterCard for customer information. Is it ever going to end, Wes?
Never going to end. This is interesting stuff, and this is kind of segues and forays into John's realm here of the tech stuff and the technology aspect of things. But I'll give a little backstory and then let John and Will can run with this some more too if they want. So Google paid MasterCard for customer transaction info, and this was not released to the public, so all these MasterCard card holders were not informed that their info was being forwarded onto Google. So what this was is that Google wanted to know people, all of us that go online and see an ad for some product on some website. You click on the ad and you may or may not buy that product. You may just click on the ad and take a look at it, and then you walk away and you're done. Google wanted to know, as it relates to their advertising, how many of those ads actually resulted in sales on a brick and mortar store. So let's say there was a Best Buy ad online and you clicked at it and looked at it, and then like 2-3 weeks later you ended up at a Best Buy store, brick and mortar store, and you bought it. Google wanted to know if maybe that online ad ended up causing you to go to a brick and mortar store and buy it, and they had no way of knowing that before. So the way they did this now is they paid MasterCard, and obviously this relates to MasterCard only, so they may
that
be
we
doing
currently
it with,
know about.
Right, exactly. So they may be doing it with Visa
Right.
and Amex and the others, but this relates to MasterCard. They paid MasterCard for the customer's emails. So when you would take your MasterCard and you would swipe your card at Best Buy to buy something, what's that?
No, they wouldn't. Go ahead.
Yeah, so your email address is obviously embedded in your card, your information with your credit card number. So that information is stored in MasterCard's database. Google paid to get that info. So now they can cross-reference, okay, this person with this email address, we know they were online on this day, and looked at this ad, and then we know that they were at this store and used their MasterCard to buy this product. Did that correspond with the ad? And the other way of knowing, which is really crazy, knowing their whereabouts to cross-reference things, they're tracking people on Google Maps.
Oh.
So they can say,
right.
oh, Will was at Best Buy that day because we can track him on the Google Maps app. If his tracking is on, if he hasn't defeated that, we can see that he was at that Best Buy store that day, and now we can go see, did he actually buy this product at this Best Buy store that he had looked at online 3 weeks earlier?
That's right.
So this is some huge Big Brother stuff going on here.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, this, the last point you made, I know friends who have talked to, I've never done this myself, part of it I'm just not sure I want to see what pops up, but apparently, especially people with Android phones, right, which is almost innately logged into your Google account,
right,
because it's an Android phone. There's apparently ways where you can, just like Facebook has presented recently, where you can go and download all of the data that they have on you. It's a little tricky to get there, but apparently you can do that. The same thing happens with Google, and apparently you can pull up maps, and it basically shows a little trace map, and you're looking at it, and you can scroll through, and it's showing where you were.
Are you kidding me?
No, and so now what you're talking about, and it's kind of it. I get it why they wanted to buy this data. It perfectly links up. Okay, they know via this map where you were. What did you do where you were?
Right.
And now they have the answer to what you did where you were, because unless you bought it with your, what is it, Google Pay, or I know it's Apple, Google Wallet, thank you. Unless you paid with Google Wallet, which they would know about.
Right.
Well, now they have the metadata
Yep.
for what you used your credit card for. So they have the map, they have when you went, and now they have what you bought.
That.
And this is going to get into, I'm sure we're going to get into this in the upcoming weeks and months, inevitably on our Tech 2 podcast, because that's just the sort of issues that's the sign of our times. But it's a matter of ethical issues, right? Okay, so do I know what you're giving to who? But that aside, let's say like I do know that you're giving this data of what I've used my MasterCard for. It's my data. It's of value to you. Are you going to pay me for that?
Right.
Is there there's obviously an innate value.
To it.
I don't know the size of the check.
Yeah,
that Google wrote to MasterCard.
No, yeah.
But obviously it was a check, and so you're selling my stuff now. Obviously, probably buried somewhere in all of the stuff that we agreed to and continue on. You know, it's in there.
We
but
never read.
That's
they
right.
purposely make 800 pages long.
That's right.
Because we're never going to check it out.
Exactly. Obviously, we probably signed away all of it in there, but people are starting to bring up this issue of, I owned it. It's my information and data. I may be okay with you, MasterCard or Google, having it, but you own it.
Yeah.
And it's just going to bring up a lot of interesting issues.
Yeah, and then like you said, who's to say, this is now leaked out that they've done this with MasterCard, who's to say that they haven't done it with Visa and Amex, and even if you don't have credit cards, if you have a debit card, all those are linked to one of the major credit card companies, so
they're all processed by those
for the big three.
Right.
So for all we know, they've got agreements with Google, with Visa and Amex as well. So, Google could legitimately track everything that we've done.
And they're trying.
Oh yeah.
And that's, I mean, it is so scary to think of. I can't imagine being, let's say you're a husband and you're cheating on your wife, or you're
just doing things you don't want people to know you're doing.
Exactly.
Right.
And frankly, I'm not doing anything wrong.
Sure.
I don't want them following me.
Right.
I have a problem with
That's right.
location services on most anything, let alone them, taking all that information of where I'm shopping, and they're cataloging it and they're flipping it to make their own money on it,
Yeah.
or to make big money on it.
Yeah,
And
it's wild.
I can't get over this. Hey, little baby, you got wings, hon? And I gotta say, those are pretty dang good.
Those are good.
Bacon wrapped chicken wings, didn't really do much to them. Just hit them with a little garlic and stuff like that. But no, that was good stuff.
There was no sauce, right? No sauce on these.
No
right?
sauce, just
the
bacon,
bacon,
the
the
salt,
rub.
The dry rub on
yeah,
there
salt,
beforehand.
pepper,
Quite
garlic, and some smoked paprika. But no, I hadn't heard about this, but it does. It scares the living tar out of me to know that they're doing this, and that the man. This is, and I'm not I'm frankly, I think conspiracy theories like Alex Jones are just they're bizarre, but this is the kind of stuff that really makes you think. And I don't know if you guys saw this, and this is just a little bit of a takeoff. I saw this ring thing that's like an RFID ring that is going to allow you to log into everything and purchase everything and track every single thing you do. And you just tap it on your car, start your car, all of that. I mean, this is the kind of crap that, the implants that, it's going to make your life easier. No, it's not. It's going to.
Wow.
And I don't believe we live in this dystopian society that is going to be like the Hunger Games someday. But
there's trade-offs, right? There's trade-offs to all this stuff.
And for the sake of laziness, when it comes down to it, I don't want to remember my passwords. I don't want to remember my keys. I don't want to drag all this stuff around. So I'm going to give away all of that anonymity and being your own person, just for the sake of convenience. At some point, you got to say stop.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, it's getting to the point of being scary now with this kind of stuff. So.
Huge scary. Well, this is it for the hot sheet, and like we always say, the heavy lifting's done. But that actually felt kind of like freestyle time, which we're getting into right now. We don't have any flashback follow-ups because we just want to get right into the freestyle. We've got some pretty cool stuff. Having Jon join us and get his take on some of these things, and I've got some fun stuff, and I'm going to be ribbing Wes a little bit.
Oh, this is fantastic.
This is good.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a little bit of a shot at him. I don't know if it may be a shot at you for all I know. I don't know, but we're gonna find out. Do you want to start us, or?
I thought I'll start with this one. This is my one heavy hitting freestyle. Then I've got a couple fun ones after this. But this is the one I was gonna bring up on our last podcast, and I said no, I want to save it for when my cousin's on Thursday. So this is it. This is something that we hear a lot about. It's been going on, and we've heard a lot about it for a long time. Should college athletes be paid?
Ooh, yeah, this is a good one.
That's a great.
And if yes, how do you decide how much they get paid? Do you pay the scholarship kids one amount, the walk-ons another amount? And furthermore, how does it get split up amongst programs? If you've got a USC that's known for their football program, are you paying the football players more than the water polo players? Or like the Beavers, who's known for their baseball program, are you paying the baseball players more than the basketball players? So first, the high-level question is, should college athletes be paid? And then if yes, how do you figure out how to divvy up and what are you paying to what players in what sports kind of thing?
I'll take this one from the top, and then you run
Sure.
it there. So I am a subscriber to the belief that they are paid. I think that the value of an education is priceless. This is where I differ with everyone that tries to use that as some kind of ammunition for not paying them real money. Each education at each school costs a different amount. If you go to Oregon State, it costs you X amount of dollars. It costs you more if you are from outside of Oregon. But if you go to USC, like you said, USC costs a lot more money to go to than Oregon State. Now, that's not to say that Oregon State doesn't have some programs that could be comparable to USC. Obviously, USC has an amazing film school. Oregon State has nothing like, I'm sure they to some degree, but you have to look at what the value of that education is. If you're playing for Harvard, the education you're getting there is even more because you have that name. Or Stanford. Stanford is a football powerhouse. I believe they're ranked number 9 or 12 right now.
Yeah, they're quite a
They're a dang good program. The worth of that education, not just in real dollars, but what it translates into the real world when you're on down the road, is worth more than if you go to Portland State. But Portland State's getting on TV just like Stanford is, maybe not to the same degree, but they're still getting on there. So I think that what we're not taking into account is the value of that education and what it costs in real dollars right now, and in cost of living in that area. It costs a hell of a lot more to live in LA than it does Corvallis, Oregon.
Yeah.
So I think all of that stuff needs to be taken into it. To go a little bit farther, though, I do believe that they need some cash in their pocket. I think that if you're Bryce Love at Stanford, to go back to Stanford, a big name in the running for the Heisman, okay? Those guys are bringing in a lot of money for their program, and I'll cut it short a little bit, but they're bringing in a lot of money for their program. I think that the football players should be paid more than the water polo players. It's a value system, okay? It's like society. We're not all Bernie Sanders here. We're not trying to pass it all around. Which you bring to the table, you should be rewarded for. Not to take anything away from water polo players, but you're not bringing the same value to the university that a football player is. What do you think, John?
So I wish I could remember the name, but I watched a really interesting documentary on Netflix maybe a couple years ago. And it started to shift my mentality a little bit from the perspective of, I'll be the first to say that the documentary was biased in trying to convince you that schools, colleges, have done everything they can do to try and categorize. That's why their argument was that's why they came up with the term student athlete, right? And why it leads with the word student. And their whole point was colleges know that this is going to be a huge revenue source, and so they want to continue to shed light on the fact that these are students who are getting an education, and that's why they shouldn't have, they're already getting their value. A little bit like we'll just explain, right? But I would have to admit, it started to shift my mentality a little bit in terms of maybe there is room for athletes in college to receive money. Now, the other thing that I think about, and full disclosure, both Wes and I are UCLA fans. we have parents who are alum, and so we kind of grew up watching, liking UCLA. There was a famous court case with Ed O'Bannon, right? With the NCAA, and I frankly thought he brought up a good point. Again, trying to remove all bias, the fact that I loved watching Ed O'Bannon help UCLA win the 1995 NCAA basketball championship. That aside, he made the point of, look, every time the NCAA tournament comes on, they show myself, my teammate Tyus Edney, running the full court, 4.8 seconds, scoring a layup to win in the second round. That's right. That's generating CBS money because people are watching CBS. They are continuing to use my likeness. Mm-hmm. I think, now this is just a really high level, but between the two of them and some things I've read, I think you can make the argument, it doesn't necessarily go to cash in someone's pocket at the time. I think you could make the argument, and I have no problem of it being kind of ratio depending on what programs bring in more money than others, so football, basketball being more than water polo. But putting the money in some sort of trust or something so that the student would receive it, but you're also trying to separate the potential incentives and problems that come with that while they're in school receiving
of throwing cash out of water in school. Yeah.
So you're trying to acknowledge both. Look, it's a tricky time for them. We don't necessarily want to be throwing them thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars while they're in college because they are getting the education. They're on scholarship. But acknowledging, look, we're using them to make money. The Ed O'Bannon, the Tyus Edneys, those sorts of things will forever help support the NCAA 64 tournament, right? I think there's room for them to make some money from that. The actual student athlete that was involved.
So you bring up an interesting point that I hadn't thought of previously. So in a case like that where they're showing classic highlights of the Tyus Edney going full court for that layup, So does does it become a royalty situation?
Exactly.
Like
It's a great
Seinfeld
question.
reruns. They
That's
get
right.
royalties every time they show those reruns.
It's a great
so
question.
Do you do like a royalty incentive saying, hey, if you want to use my highlight from 20 years ago, I need a little kickback here.
Totally believable, but I could see where that's valid.
Absolutely, and I should have. And I think you are exactly right with the putting it in trust.
Yeah.
And I actually completely agree, and I forgot to say it, because I think that kicking them something down so that they have something to live on besides Burger King,
Sure.
and McDonald's, whether it be $500 or $1,000 a month. I'm not talking about Escalade money or anything like that.
Right.
But I do think that you're also above and beyond CBS, NBA 2K.
Exactly.
All of those. And O'Bannon was going after them as well.
Right.
So the big thing there is, again, their likeness. Okay, so in 2K 2029, LeBron James is still going to be in that game in a legacy position, I'm sure. Because now that's what it's all about. They're bringing back all these old players. Because guys like me and you, we grew up watching Ed O'Bannon. You want to create a team that's got Ed O'Bannon and Tyus Edney on it, going against Gary Payton. I know I was way
No, but
Payton,
I understand. Yeah, that's right.
You want to create that legacy, so they're going to continue to use their likeness. Those guys aren't getting paid. Hell, these guys might be on the street destitute, and they could use the $500 a year they make on it. And why is it that the GameSoft or any of those guys, why do they get to make the money on it?
Yeah, when you look at it from a certain angle, it's like there's this magical wrapper around a student athlete.
Mm-hmm.
They're 18, but because the wrapper is around them that they were a student athlete, they are forever shielded from ever receiving money for what was shown of them on television. And I don't know, there's something about that I think there's a little bit more of a middle ground here than just they don't receive anything ever for always.
Absolutely, and you are exactly coming up with the title of student athlete was the greatest con job on earth. It really was. I mean, that's the Kaiser Soze of sports and hiding money to go to the fat cats, being the trustees or whomever, the presidents. No, hell, the football coaches. Why the hell is a football coach in college making $8 million and you have the governor of the damn state's not making over $200,000?
Right.
And again, just from philosophically a background, I don't have a problem with that coach making $8 million.
Neither do I, but
it's a marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's a marketplace, part of that marketplace is based on the athletes and the likeness that those athletes are being used of in order to promote the television rights, etc., to get that $8 million for the coach. So,
and I don't mean to be socialistic when I say that the coach is vastly overpaid. I think that there is a value to it, but I also think that an education, and this is my opinion, an education is worth more than playing football.
Fair.
I think that
just the numbers, would bear that.
Exactly. I mean, doctors are going to contribute far more to society than a guy that played safety as a backup for 2 years for Oregon State. It just or a veterinarian. Oregon State has a great vet program. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that if we look at the value that they bring in life, maybe these guys should be making more money because their value is professors. And anyway, we'll go on. That's not quite as much fun as we like to have.
So we'll move on to I wanted to get the heavy topic out of the way.
Exactly.
It's been one I wanted to get other feedback, and I'm in agreement with you guys. I think the trust fund is a great idea.
Yeah, you never gave us what you're.
No, I'm on board with John. I think they need to be compensated because they are bringing in a ton of revenue for the university, and a lot, not all the kids, but a lot of the kids wind up with pretty serious injuries that could prevent them from potentially playing at the next level and making themselves money as a professional player. They are precluded from doing that by being injured in college, and they're not really, they're not compensated for that justly. So I very much agree that they need to be paid for their efforts and for bringing revenue to the school. However, I also agree with you. You don't just write them a check for $10K a month. That's going to cause big problems in their personal lives. Yeah. But the trust fund thing is a great idea.
Yeah. And we won't go down the rabbit hole that is whether they should be allowed to go to the pros straight out of high school. They're forced to go to college.
Yeah.
I mean, what a baloney system that is. They're forcing That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into something a little bit more.
Yeah.
Do you have any topics that you may want to sneak in here? At some
I was
point?
just going to piggyback off of your guys.
Okay, sounds good. Well, we have football starting tonight. We got the NFL first game tonight. We've got the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Atlanta Falcons.
That's right, the
Yes,
Falcons.
it is.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, I would like your guys' Super Bowl predictions.
Ooh.
What are you? And I'm going to piggyback on it because we have college football that started last week. Give me your BCS. I don't want your Super Bowl winner. I want your Super Bowl participant.
The matchup.
And your BCS
And the national
matchup.
championship
Exactly.
matchup for college.
Oh, man.
Wow. You want to go
I
first?
don't know if I do want to go for this. This is a
I'll
good
start.
one.
Okay,
I'll
yeah, go
start.
ahead.
This is a good one.
So for me, I'm going to come out of the NFC. I'm going to say the Los Angeles Rams. I think the Rams have one hell of a good football team. They got Gurley in the backfield. I think Goff is a hell of a lot better than people have given him credit for, and I think the sky is the limit. He's going to be
He's got the
Carson
right
Wentz.
coach and right system
He
in there
does,
now. 'Cause,
McVay-
Fisher was a ridiculous head
Oh,
coach.
no,
that helped
The
me out.
Colombian drug lord was not. I mean, he can move keys, but he could not move quarterbacks. No, I think that. And then Aaron Donald on defense. That guy is an and he deserved every dollar he got paid. He is just an unstoppable force. Unstoppable, not unstoppable. But no, between those guys, I mean, and I think you're exactly right. McVay is going to take them. He's got the youth.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of a Pete Carroll without the kind of the rah-rah quite as much, but in terms of the insight, knowing that the run game and a strong defense are what's going to take you to the promised land.
Yeah.
He's got Gurley in the backfield, and he's got Donald on defense, not Duck. But no, I think that the Los Angeles Rams from the NFC and coming straight out of the AFC, I don't know if this is because I think it's so unbelievable that somebody would pass up $900,000 a week, but I want to see the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that
You mean Bell?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that Le'Veon Bell, the arrogance that is thinking that he can, because he has to be back by week 10 in order for this to count as a year towards his retirement.
service. Yeah.
And can you imagine? Dan Patrick was talking about this morning, and that's kind of why it got me fired up a little bit. Was that guy, if he walks in that locker room in week 10 and like, hey guys, I'm back. Wait, I'm not. You're not back here for us. You're back here for you because you have to be. But can you imagine passing up $900,000 a week?
It's a lot of money.
You have to try to make. He's 27 years old. How the hell is he going to make that up in another contract? He already passed up 60 million? I think $15 million a year they offered him last year, and he turned that down. I mean, what was his name?
You guys remember Latrell Sprewell?
That's what I was just going to
Yes.
say. I was about
the
to say this.
Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
That he was.
Well,
I
he
have
played
to.
for the
I
Knicks,
have
but
to
yeah.
feed my kids.
Exactly. On $15 million a year.
Latrell
And he did-
Sprewell.
And you know what? He didn't make anything. I don't even know that he got signed after
No,
that.
he was done. That was it. He never
I
got
gotta
signed
feed my
again.
kids.
Maybe he played in Europe or China. Or, I don't know. But he
Or
never
he
played.
just
Never
hopped
played in
his
the NBA.
goofy
again.
rims
Yeah.
that he was trying to sell.
Wow.
But that you thought exactly what I did. How do you do that? How do you pass up that kind of money? I know they're rich, but when you have agent fees and taxes taking 60% of your paycheck,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's a little bit of a
That's probably
stretch.
not too far off.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. So have you come up with who you think's going to win?
For the Super Bowl,
Super
you
Bowl
want to do
contender.
national championship?
Oh
or
yeah,
you
no,
come
I
back
got
around?
no. I'll do my national championship. Give you guys just I think Alabama is the most unstoppable, whatever word I'm gonna make up.
Yeah.
I think
They're,
that-
yeah, Saban's awfully good.
Oh,
I mean,
he is.
people hate him. I understand, but
Why do they hate
I don't know.
success,
I don't know.
though?
It's interesting.
really-
He does every press conference he does. You know what I think part of it is, and I kind of like the Pats, so I know Saban has ties with Belichick in the
Yeah.
past. I think part of it's that is they don't like how he does a press conference, but just like they don't like how Belichick does a press conference. I think it rubs people the wrong way. Although I heard he just called a reporter and apologized.
He did.
Which
Maria
was, yeah.
Taylor.
Yeah, but I think for whatever reason, just his MO just rubs people.
And I don't think that he's actually. I think Belichick is an asshole. I really do. But I think that Saban, even though he can come off curt,
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for him, and I have a hell of a lot of respect for the way he runs that program.
Mm-hmm.
College or football is dirty is dirty.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
whether
yeah.
he knows about it or Urban
friends
Meyer
of
or
friends of the program. That's what the
Or
movie
Rick
Blue Chips.
Pitino.
I love that. I love that term, and it's always friends of the program.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Some booster over there owns a car dealership or something. That's why that 18-year-old kid's got a new Escalade. But no, I don't love Alabama at all. It's just I respect them.
Yeah.
And the way he goes out there, plays smash mouth football.
Yeah.
And you know what? Haters gonna hate. The people that have less are, rather than looking at themselves and finding a way that they can do better, they want to blame him. Well, that's BS. And my other pick, Ohio State.
Yeah.
I think that there's going to be a Big Ten
Even
school.
with Urban.
He'll be back. He's
Right,
I mean,
but-
this
yeah.
is a speed bump for them.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
they have an absolute unstoppable team. And this is nothing to do with Urban Meyer or what my thoughts are on him as a person. I think him as a coach is amazing, and I think his team is. I think Alabama could curb stomp them, but I really do think that they've got the team that could be there because the SEC cannibalizes themselves. That's the problem. What you got, Wes?
All right, so for college, I'm actually going to take a page out of your book. I agree with both those teams, Ohio State, Alabama. I don't see a reason to bet against, especially Alabama. I would see Alabama going taking the championship. On the NFL, I'm going to throw you a little curveball from the AFC side. Maybe not so much of a curveball, but on the AFC side, I like Jacksonville.
Whoa. I just choked in my wing.
I think that they're a dark horse. They got their quarterback maybe doesn't
Like
have the
Bordelais?
pizzazz, but Fournette is a beast at running back. Their defense is insane. They've got decent receivers. I don't know. They made a great run last year, and I think they're even better this year. So I like Jacksonville on the AFC, and on the NFC I gotta go. Got to go with the Saints. I figured, Breeze has probably only got a couple years left, and they were one pass away from making it last year.
Yeah, they were.
And I think they're a better, again, like I said with Jacksonville, I think the Saints are a better team this year, even though they got Ingram suspended for the first 4 games. I think they can overcome that with Kamara easily. That guy is just a beast.
And he's a fun guy.
But not only do the Saints, their top receiver is still there, their number 3 guy, Ted Ginn, is still there. He had a pretty good year last year. But they brought in, and if the guy can stay healthy, they brought in Cam Meredith from the Bears, who is just a physical specimen. He just had some knee injury, I believe. He missed a good chunk of the season with the Bears. But if that guy can stay healthy, I think he's like 6'5" or 6'6". I mean, he's like, he can catch anything if he can stay healthy. So the fact that they brought him in as a free agent, and he is supposedly healthy, so as long as he can maintain his health, I think they've got a ton of weapons on offense, and their defense was a laughingstock a few years ago, and they have righted the ship. They had an outstanding defense last year, and from everything I've read, it's supposed to be even better this year. So
yeah, they were the run and shoot, the bad side of the run and shoot offense there. They'd put up 80 and they'd let somebody score 81. It was pretty sick.
Yep.
It was the boat race. What do you got now?
I think I probably on the margin, I probably follow a little more college football, although I like NFL, but I got to agree with the Alabama pick. I mean, I know it's not special.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the consensus. But I don't know. It's probably, as I mentioned earlier, with the UCLA, being a UCLA fan, I'm probably being biased by this, but everything I read about, I'm reading the blogs about UCLA's game this weekend against Oklahoma. Oklahoma, maybe I think they're 8th or 9th, and so I'll throw in. Again, I think I'm creating a doomsday scenario for UCLA on Saturday, which is making me think Oklahoma's better than they are. So I'll go with Oklahoma and Alabama, but it's going to be ugly on Saturday. Not to get off tangent for a second. I think the spread is still 30 points.
Yeah. Is it?
For our
it's
in Oklahoma. It's going to be
Norman's going to be rocking.
It's going to be a disaster. On the NFL side, it's more of just. I guess general teams. I agree with you what you're saying about the Rams. I mean, I guess I don't have like a specific. I got to think about that more in terms of the specific matchup. But I think the Rams are going to be awfully good.
Yeah.
The other one too, though, to transition a little bit just to general NFL talk is, what it seems like is I had high hopes, well, at least on paper, coming into the season for the Raiders. But Gruden, I don't know the current verbiage and. Reporting out of Oakland is a little. I mean, on paper, these guys. I like Carr. I like Lynch in the backfield. I mean, on paper, it looks like if everyone stays healthy, and you'd have thought Gruden coming on board would have been the final piece, but it's not seeming like that in the preseason.
It's like he just hopped out of 2001, and he's still there.
Right. There hasn't been an update.
No, he
been
forgot.
downloaded.
He's on iOS 2001 rather than
right.
2018, and his whole antics thing, the whole blah, 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 not that all. This is 2018. These guys. They're the millennials. They're gonna shut his ass down. They're not gonna listen to him. They don't respond to that. And hell, if I was 35 years old and you did see Gruden, maybe you back then you were part of the league when he first started, or when you came in and he was coaching. Maybe that stuff translated. It doesn't work now, and I think that letting Mack go, no bueno.
Yeah.
Khalil Mack. Let him go to
totally.
Chicago.
Yeah. And then just how he handled all that, right? I don't know.
He didn't call him. He didn't talk to him.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you do that? But I think you're exactly right. I think they have some parts there.
It's one of those awesome on paper, but it would look like, again, we'll see in the regular season, but it would look like so far in the preseason, it's not going to pan out.
No, I watched them play the Seahawks last week, and I was like, And actually, they didn't play that. I mean, what's his name? What the hell was their quarterback that played? Anyway, it doesn't matter. But no, I think it could be a really bad shit show down there.
Yeah.
So, what's your number 2 there? Wes?
Number 2, we're going to get in my number 2 and 3 are our favorite top 3 kind of style things, so we can run through these fairly quickly. Your top 3, we can take it in descending order, 3, 2, 1. Your top 3 beverages. And water does not count.
But you mean category of beverages?
No,
you mean
specific
like
beverage.
Oh.
Water does not count. You can't say water.
Oh, okay.
But it can be alcohol or non-alcohol.
Okay.
But top 3 beverages, not including water.
Okay. Number 3, I'm going to go with a cocktail, and I will say, as much as I love margaritas, I'm actually not going to say it. I really enjoy a good Moscow Mule.
Oh,
I really do.
Yeah.
Now, I know Wes probably thought that I was going to say margarita because I do, but those to me, I would rather just drink the tequila by itself, frankly, than put the sweet stuff in it. I really like the ginger, and I really like everything, the freshness, the mint, the lime. I really like that in the Moscow Mule. What would be your number 3?
We start. Okay,
yeah, we each go 3, then 2, then 1.
Yeah, we'll go round table here.
Yep.
I got an alternate if this doesn't work because I really like these, and you said no water, but I'm going to switch it a little bit. I like a what is it, citrusy or the flavored Pellegrinos.
Really?
You know, like
that's how I know you're from California.
Yeah, right. No, there you go.
No, we can let that slide. We'll let that slide.
Bubbly, right? But also like lime,
A little flavor in there,
like lemon or lime. I drink a lot of those, so I got it. That's number 3.
Number 3 for me is what I thought you were going to say for number 3. The Bloody Mary.
Oh,
yeah.
Man, why did I miss that?
Yeah,
I did.
Yeah. I thought for sure you were going to drop that one on. When you started saying, when you said not margarita, I thought you were going to say Bloody Mary, then you went Moscow Mule instead. But no, number 3 is Bloody Mary for me, definitely.
And I would say, I've been on the Bloody Mary kick since you and I got on them at the beach. You know why? Because at the 2001 Super Bowl, I drank so many of them. I think I've told this story in air before, but I drank so many of them that I burned the top lip for like 3 days because I got this, Dave's Ass to Fire margarita mix or something like that. And I'm not kidding. I drank a lot of them.
The amount of hot sauce just searing into your skin.
It did. It burned me for like 2 or 3 days. And so I quit drinking them I would have them at the airport every once in a while when we go on a plane because the airport bar makes the best Bloody Mary I've ever had in my life at Portland. But so until we started getting back into them, they haven't been a part of my collection of cocktails.
Yeah.
So that's why I didn't
taste
think
aversion almost, like you couldn't just thought of it.
No, I love them though. We had one on Sunday, Sunday, and it was just
okay.
And for me, I really like to put the lime in it. I think for some reason that really pops it up.
Yeah.
So, number 2 for me, I'm going to say, I'm not going to go alcohol. I'm going to say cherry Coke.
Yeah?
I love cherry Coke. I do like, don't drink very much of it. I mean, I don't drink much soda in general. I'm drinking a 7-Up right now, but for me, you know what it is? When I go to a movie, I want to have a big tub of 8,000 grams of fat popcorn and an ice cold cherry Coke. Love it.
I got a feeling I'm going to get made fun of again.
Uh-oh.
My number 2 being
Rick
California.
Bronx.
I love a really high quality, and most of the stuff at like a fast food restaurant or even a lot of restaurants know, but you come across a restaurant that does an excellent fresh brewed iced tea.
Oh yeah,
With
no.
lemon.
Oh no, that's a
That
winner.
is always at a restaurant. When I go to a restaurant where I've had it before and I know that they do a good one, every time. I love no sugar. You know, I don't want the sweetened stuff, but the lemon in a really good, freshly brewed iced tea is killer.
Yeah, no, you will not get made fun of here because I love iced tea. It is. I'm looking at. I drink a lot of iced tea, so it's not one of those things that, like, I'm thinking. I'm thinking of like special, like.
Yeah, you respect like a specific, some certain brands, certain flavor,
exactly,
herbs.
and it's not something I get a lot of. I don't drink a lot of Moscow Mules or Cherry Coke, so it's like a special thing. I drink a boatload of iced tea. And I like the peace teas if I'm just like quick ice cold hot day.
Yeah.
But I do the cold brew iced tea with a lemon.
Really good.
Like, and I make it really strong. I get the 2 bags for 1 glass like this.
Yep.
I love that stuff. So that's where I am on number 2.
Nice.
It's funny you mention that because I think you know that I can't stand iced tea.
I know
Really?
you can't
And
pour
yeah.
ketchup.
Oh, I didn't know that.
What's funny when you the other thing that cracked me up when you said extra strong is that it makes me think of Tia, who likes iced tea, but she grew up with it this way. She likes it extra weak.
Oh,
That is
iced tea?
That is to say, she'll fill the glass with water, save for about like 1 inch, and she'll put like an inch of iced tea in the top.
What's the point?
yeah, that's just
You're
like
gonna have
tea
to ask
flavored
Tia.
water.
Oh, I will ask her this
Yeah,
tonight.
exactly. I
I'm
don't
intrigued
get
beyond
it.
belief.
I want the tea
Yeah,
in my mouth.
don't. Yeah,
Well,
I don't
yeah.
understand. So yeah, 2 things. I don't like it, period. And then the way that my wife likes it is really weird with just
Definitely
an
not.
hint of iced tea.
That's like
and-
how I make a cocktail. Is you've got tequila and then you just wave something over the top, right? I don't want my iced tea like that. I want to taste the tea.
Yeah,
I gotta definitely
you
ask
got to
her.
ask her. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So number 2 for me is RC.
Whoa!
Love-
Wow, that's
blew my mind.
That's a
Love
classic.
RC.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I would say, obviously, the cola-wise, colas, RC by far and away. I would say if I had to pick a number 2, it'd be Coke, but RC is
That is a
above and
classic
beyond for me.
pick.
It's just, it's got the little, to me, Pepsi is sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Coke is more of a cola flavor, and then RC takes it to the next level. It's like a spicier cola flavor. It's a strong cola. Not basically.
I love how you're like, it's
strong.
strong.
Yeah,
You're like
So
Rosie the
basically,
Riveter for cola.
It's like on the opposite end of the spectrum from Pepsi. Pepsi to me is kind of sweet with a weaker cola flavor, and RC is like the strong, spicy cola, and that's what I like. So RC is number 2 for me.
Total left field. That was awesome.
Yeah.
No, I gotta respect that. You go that K&M the drive through.
I saw
they're
that.
an
They
RC
serve
place. So
RC.
if you like, you gotta go down there
Really?
for
Yeah.
RC. So we're looking at number 1 now.
Yep.
This is something that I enjoy too much of, and that's Red Bull. I love Red Bull, and I have to limit myself. In fact, I drink too much of it as it is. You can talk to Kim, and she'll tell you that for sure. I don't know what it is. It has nothing to do with the energy, because frankly, people think that Red Bull's got all this caffeine. Red Bull actually has less caffeine than a cup of coffee. It's got some taurine and stuff like that or whatever, but I love the flavor of Red Bull. It's not, like I said, it's not an energy get jazzed up thing. I just love, and I don't want 34 degree Red Bull or 36 degree. I want 32.1. It's got, I put mine in the freezer for about 45 minutes before I drink it, so it gets those ice crystals in it. Oh. And if it has vodka in it, I mean, that just takes it to another level. We're not even talking about that. But no, the ice, the cold as you can get Red Bull is just, that's my end-all, be-all, my favorite drink of all.
Interesting. So my number 1 is it's alcohol, it's beer, but you don't always find it, and that's the problem. Is when I find it, I'm all over it. I mean, it's like tops.
Like all of it.
Yeah, but you just don't see it on tap. And there is one bar in San Luis Obispo where I went to school in California that had it on tap. I just have never seen it since. And I was actually talking to T about it last night. It's Young's Chocolate Stout.
What?
And it is smooth, chocolatey. Now you gotta like a stout.
Wow, you're getting that velvety voice.
No. I'm trying to pitch it here.
Are we getting a deal on
Yeah,
it?
right.
Nice, I like it.
So it is. You gotta like a stout to start
Oh, yeah.
with, right? But it is just it's the perfect. And a lot of these, I'll be the first to say, a lot of these beers they bring in a flavor. They talk about it's got hints of this or that. It's really a great level of chocolate in a stout that is just really smooth. And
Really?
when you can find it on tap, that's it.
I may
But
have
it's
to.
really hard to.
Can you? Is it in California only? I've never heard of it. So.
I see it from time to time. If you go to a Bevmo or we have Total Wines and More,
Yeah, we have that
okay,
here
there you
too,
go.
yep.
You'll see it on the shelf sometimes.
Okay,
in
well,
those. Quite good.
I'm gonna have to get your number and have you text that to me because now I want to try this.
It's very good. I think it's very
it sounds really good because I love stouts.
good. I think you'd be a fan.
Because like Guinness to me, and you introduce as long as it's not a sweet thing.
Yeah, you should try it. There's those who love Coke and think Diet Coke's disgusting. There's those who love Diet Coke and think Coke's disgusting. Right. Would you drink a Diet Dr. Pepper, or is it no?
I mean, I've tried it. And
it's just Dr. See, there you go.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah,
I don't drink anything diet, but I was raised. I only was because of a fat kid, so I was only allowed to drink diet soda. And in fact, I still remember to this day one time going fishing with my dad in Alaska on the Kenai River in Soldotna.
Wow.
And I got a Pepsi, a real one. And I still can taste that to this day when I drink a Pepsi. It takes me back to them because that's how big a deal it was for me to have sugar soda. I like Dr. Pepper a lot. I don't drink it that often. Brandon, my son, drinks. That's his go-to soda. But when it comes to the diet, I will just not drink soda.
That's
I would
so funny.
rather not drink it at all than have diet.
Here.
I used to drink a lot of them, but I don't so much anymore. But I will pick a Diet Coke over a Coke any day.
Huh.
Really? Is
Any
it the
day.
sweetness?
It is. It's not. It's the actual.
You like
to
that?
me, there's a crispness of the taste of
Mhm.
Diet Coke.
Huh.
It just.
Interesting.
I really do like the taste over Coke.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's interesting.
Call me
But
crazy.
no, I know people like that. They get into the Diet Coke thing, and I almost think the Diet Coke is more addictive than
Oh, I think it is.
a lot of other sodas.
Oh, I think it is. It's
There's
got a lot
some-
more caffeine than Coke. I know.
Really?
Yeah. It's like double, I think.
Wow. Well, there you go. So that's learn something new every day. So I'm going to piggyback off my football because I wanted to, just for fun. Because we are running a little long here. But if you guys don't have any, well, no, you guys got a dinner to go to, don't you?
Yeah, at some point. Yeah.
Okay. At some point. Okay. Well, then we'll make this a quick one, and then we'll get into my final one that I want to jab you a little bit with. I'm going because you know what one of my one was top 3 cocktails.
Oh, okay.
That was one of my
there you
that
go.
I was going to go to. This one doesn't quite work as well for. No, I'm going to use this for both top 3 favorite casino games.
Oh, okay.
Can you come up with one? Because I know mine. I mean, I've got mine down pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll go number 3 for me, Pai Gow. And
Oh,
it's
sure.
not because it's a terrifically fun game. It's that there's 2 reasons. It's a game that you split with the dealer a lot, so your exposure to loss is a lot less than a normal table game, and it's a terrific game for drinking because you're not losing as much and you don't have to pay as close attention because you have to make 2 hands. I don't know if you're familiar with Pai Gow, but you have to make
only a little bit.
Okay, you have to make 2 hands, and if you basically put your cards down, the damn dealer will tell you which ones to put where. So it's pretty hard to screw up. But because you're not losing, your ability to accept more free drinks has gone up quite a bit. So you're getting a bang for your buck. What do you think, Wes?
You want to
Or
run number 3?
John?
Oh yeah, sure. Well, I'll preface it with I don't have obviously been to casinos. I don't have a lot of experience playing casino games. Played them more with like friends and around kitchen tables and poker games and stuff. That being said, I would say then I'll pick number 3 for me is poker.
Okay.
Only because again, not sitting down at a lot of tables at casinos playing it, but just playing it with friends. But I'll save number 2 and number 1, which I'll admit will be a little sad when we get there. that I've played at casinos, but
Okay.
Number 3, I'll go with the old school standby. Is just the old slot machine.
Oh, okay.
It's just kind of fun. It doesn't take a lot of. It takes no thought.
Right.
It's just kind of a fun time and money suck kind of a thing. It's just it's just a fun deal. So number 3 is slots.
I like slots. But my number 2, I think that slots. I mean, I've won quite a bit of money playing slots. Not nearly as much as my mother. She is a winner chicken dinner when it comes to that. But she used to call herself, she and her friend, a slot slut. They were the slot sluts. But no, number 2 for me, I'm going to go with the good old roulette.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I like roulette because one of my best friends, Thad, he won a poker tournament one time, and when he did, he got cashed out in chips. He got a $25 chip, and he walked over to the roulette table, put it on 23, and hit it straight up. And so from that point on, I have played 23 a lot, but it's a social game. And so I really enjoy social games. I understand casino games. I've studied them a lot because I want to know if I am going to go lose my money. I want to know where they're going to beat me the least.
Sure.
And so that I can also make good decisions. I removed poker from this because I like poker. I played for a long time. And so for me, I kind of removed that from it a little bit. Because like you said, I play at home and whatnot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's my favorite game of all time because it's, like they say, 5 minutes to learn and a lifetime to master.
Sure.
You can never beat it. So, but yeah, number 2 for me, roulette.
So I'm going to sound like an 80-year-old. I actually like Keno.
Nice.
Oh,
yeah.
No, because you get to sit there. They still bring you drinks. Mm-hmm. But if you're with friends and buddies, like it's chat time until you see the numbers come up. It's kind of a nice experience. That's
Absolutely.
been my
I really like that.
So Keno,
Number 2 for me, blackjack.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fairly simple to do. It's just, I don't know.
I get it.
I play blackjack probably the most out of any of the casino games because I just, like you said, it's a easy game to get to. It's an easy game to understand relatively. But no, I'm right there with you on the blackjack. Number 1 for me is going to be craps.
Yeah, throwing the dice.
Yeah.
Knew you were coming with that one.
Oh yeah, for me it's all about the social aspect of it again. Got a group of guys that goes down to the coast every year. We spend the guys' weekend, and one of our big things is playing craps. Absolutely love craps. Understand the game well. I'm not one of the guys though that's throwing out all the words that you sound like a mobster or something like that, or some absolute degenerate.
Sure.
I'm just a minor degenerate. But no, I love craps. It's a lot of fun, and you get on a roll. There is not a lot that beats a 30-minute roll with a heater with a whole table full of your buddies.
Yeah, that would be pretty
man, that's an experience right there.
You guys have already said, or at least you did, Wes, my number 1, slots.
Slots, yeah.
I do like
Nice.
sitting there, probably more on the the nickel side, quarter side,
Yeah.
but for a similar reason as Keno, I think. Oftentimes go with buddies, kind of lined up, and more of a social experience than anything. It's fun. Kind of like
Number 1 for me, roulette.
Oh, okay.
That's the one I've had the most success with.
Oh,
in
really?
Vegas.
What's your biggest win?
In a single sitting?
Yeah.
I always start with 100. I always lay down 100 and get that in chips. So walking away after I think it was the first time I took T to Vegas, as a matter of fact, when we were engaged. It was at Mandalay Bay.
Nice.
And I want to say I laid down 100 and a half hour, 45 minutes later, I walked away with, I want to say $600 or $700.
Nice.
Wow.
So I mean, it's not a
well
massive
done,
win,
well done.
but I would say 80% of the 75 at least % of the time I walk away positive.
Wow.
On that,
That's a hell of
for
a
whatever
turn.
reason, I always have, not always, but a large majority of the time I have really good luck at roulette. So I just kind of gravitate that way now because it's fun and I've had success at it. So it just kind of keeps drawing me back. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is
No,
awesome.
that's a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, especially when you have those kind of results.
yeah.
You don't see that very often. I mean, I've done pretty well, but never anything that big.
Oh,
That's pretty cool. I think that was. Do you have another?
I got one more top 3 we can hit real quick. It'd be
Let's
nice
hit that
to
quick.
go round table. Your top 3 junk food items, like your guilty pleasure junk food items, meals, snacks, whatever.
Okay. We're going like
it can
fast food, or are we talking
Whatever.
like
We're gonna just be
candy
like
out
bad
there?
for you.
Yeah, anything, a snack or main course,
Okay,
anything that's
okay.
bad for you that
Okay,
you just
okay.
love to indulge in.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll keep it with my gluten-free self because I had the other stuff back in the old life. But no, I'll. You want to start? Or you want me to?
Go ahead.
Number 3, I will go Snickers. I love a frozen.
That would be my wife. My wife loves to throw all the candy bars in the freezer.
I freeze all the candy.
Yeah.
I love anything.
It's like a jawbreaker. I snap my teeth off.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love to freeze my candy, but a frozen Snicker bar is dang good. Love it.
Okay. Number 3 for me, cinnamon rolls.
Oh, I didn't think that's
Gangster.
Now, it's so much of it's on the icing, right? The thickness of the icing, and I don't know if you guys remember, they haven't made them in so long. Costco.
Yeah.
A long time ago, used to have a box of cinnamon rolls,
right?
And you could barely see the roll.
Yeah, it's just
because the icing was so thick.
Yep.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I love it. Cinnamon rolls are.
Yeah, I should have had that on my list. I spaced out on that because I love cinnamon rolls. So, number 3 for me is good old potato chips. I don't know. It's hard to say no to them when they're laying around. It's so number 3 potato chips for me.
I like that a lot. I'm going to say number 2, Doritos.
Yeah.
I really like Doritos with a Red Bull or a Coca-Cola cherry, please.
There you go.
That's what I really like.
Number 2 for me. This is tough, but I'm gonna go with it's not good for you. I love it. It's breakfast food.
Sausage.
It was on the Wes and I went to breakfast this morning, and it was totally an option. It was tough. Biscuits and gravy.
Oh yeah, love that stuff.
Again, hinges on the gravy big time. Biscuit can't be too dry.
Yeah, I agree.
That's often a problem with the biscuit. But when you get a real nice, soft, moist biscuit with really good thick country gravy, killer.
Yeah,
love it.
Number 2 for me, pizza.
Yeah,
I'm a sucker for pizza. That's just there's pretty much, with the exception of maybe anchovies, there's pretty much not a pizza I won't eat. I like any and all toppings.
Oh, no anchovies though?
Not an anchovy fan. No.
So you are a garbage disposal pizza.
Oh yeah.
Number 1 for me, Ben and Jerry's ice cream.
Oh boy.
Ben and Jerry's fish food or a Cherry Garcia. Probably Cherry Garcia over fish food, depending on whether I want chocolate or not.
So I'd like to lay myself at the mercy of the court and have a slash item.
Okay.
And they're related. They're related. They're both
absolutely
butters.
allowed.
They're both butters, that's why.
Okay.
I would equally have, as my top pick, straight peanut butter. I know, right?
Like with a spoon?
No question.
Yeah.
Just
wow.
spoon.
Okay.
Or
Skippy?
Pretty good. I'm not even that picky. It's just got to be real good just peanut butter. I beyond love peanut butter. Slash the Trader Joe's cookie butter.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
I haven't had that.
Okay.
I think
Tell me
the
about
name
it.
sounds familiar, but I haven't had
After
it.
this podcast, you are going to need to go and get. Is there a Trader Joe's?
Yeah, in Vancouver we got one.
They have a cookie butter. What they do is they take. It's like a. They describe it as, I forget what type of cookie, but it's like if you took this cookie and ground it into a powder, but then made it mixed it.
Those Biscoff cookies?
Biscoff cookies.
Okay,
that's
so
it.
I have had that now. Yes,
Cookie
yes.
butter.
Really, I don't think I can eat it because I'm gluten free.
That would be tricky, but it is really, really good.
Yeah.
So that or peanut butter. You could put both in front of me. I'd be just as happy.
I like it.
So numero uno for me, rounding it out, is mac and cheese.
Oh, yeah.
I got a
I should have known.
massive weakness
It's
for mac
good.
and cheese.
It's good.
Yeah, I can't turn it down.
It's good.
Not the boxed Kraft mac and cheese stuff, but like home style, homemade mac and cheese.
Or even, can I throw one in? What about, I even like the Velveeta's shells and cheese a little
that's
more than
awesome.
mac and cheese.
No.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right? It's
Awesome.
better. It's better.
My wife Tia would agree with you
Yeah.
because she
There you
she
go.
grew up on the Velveeta stuff.
There you go.
But no government cheese for me. I need
You want real
I need
deal.
the real-
You saw it shredded and it got put into the
real like
She
sharp
wants
cheddar.
Asiago and
Yeah.
all that good stuff.
I need sharp
got it.
cheddar, so where it just like slaps you in the face. It's so strong. But yeah, no mac and cheese.
Okay.
A good homemade mac and cheese with a lot of sharp cheddar on it.
Very nice.
Very good. Yeah.
Okay, my last thing for the freestyle before we wrap it up here. Top 3 overrated college football programs.
Ooh. Oh wow.
I mean, I know number 1, but I got to think about 2 more.
I bet you we probably agree on number 1.
Really?
I'm just guessing, but you want me to start?
Yeah, go for it. I gotta.
UCLA.
Whoa,
Really? Wow.
No, and I just.
Oh, that was the
I'm,
shot.
I'm
Of course,
owning you guys. That was-
Yeah.
But I will say that there have been incredibly high expectations
Yes.
for a long time going back to New Weasel for that program.
no
and
question.
They have not come
That's true.
to where they should be for the talent pool that surrounds them.
The spread of expectation to production
and
is
having
pretty high.
what USC has done, UCLA is a damn good school. And to have UCLA or USC in your backyard stomping you in the recruiting wars has got to just drive you guys bananas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, it seems number 3. Although I know I'm in tricky territory up here, but again, based on past experience, but it seems like they still live off of it a bit as Oregon.
Oh, Oregon, yeah. Oh, hell yes.
Seems pretty to me again down there in Southern Cal. Seems pretty still overrated as they continue to be talked about and touted in the Pac-12, but I'm not sure really.
I like your call there.
One that comes to mind, although in recent past years they've kind of fallen off the radar finally after living off of their legacy for so long, but now they're coming back into things again. So maybe they're not so overrated now anymore, but they were for a while, would be Miami.
Oh,
It was always all about the U, you know, and
that's such
all
a
the
good one.
hype.
That's such a
And
good
they
one.
were, yeah.
That's
So
a great one, actually. I mean, that's so phenomenal. The turnover chain, though, I got a real kick out of just because it's so Miami. It is so just me. I mean, the me in Miami, just the MI, I don't care how you say it. They are so about themselves. Going back to Two Live Crew and that whole.
That's so true.
They were, but the Rock did go there, so I got to give him that. That's why I do like him. So, no, number 2 for me, we talked about him earlier, Oklahoma. I think that Bob Stoops had a lot of great teams that are placed number 3. He's won some national championships, but when you're up there with, to put him up, I think he's in the realm of coaches that are the Sabans, the Bear Bryants, and maybe not Bear, but that program is talked about in a really high regard, and I just don't think that they, in the long term, have turned the results, because I think they have 3 or 4 national championships, and I'm taking that off the top of my head, but I would say that I don't think that they measure up to the hype every year that they get.
My problem is I want to combine 1 and 2. I'm having trouble thinking of a third, but so maybe after we come back around, I'll have a different one. But
I hope it's the one that
but
I
number
want it to be.
but this isn't gonna be any surprise from a UCLA fan. Is it USC?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, but to me they even qualify. And again, I'll try and think of a third, but to me they could fill both 1 and 2 slots. There's just still so much talent and mystique assigned to them because of the Cheaty Petey era.
Wow, I have never heard that before.
Oh, we could. I'm sure Wes could too. But University of Sussex and criminals, University of Spoiled Children. I mean, but so much stuff has been assigned based on those years where there was gym bags full of cash. Right, just giving it props. And it still seems like the ESPNs and the Foxes of the world on the West Coast see SC as being the team. And then in the Midwest and the East, they've got all the other powerhouses that have historically lived. But on the West Coast, they just kind of naturally always assign value to, and the rankings show that, to SC. Yeah. And I'm obviously a UCLA fan, so it's totally biased, but I just never see where the ranking matches what's on the
Except during the GDP.
yeah, but when you give players gym bags full of cash, what else do you expect?
Exactly.
Yep, and I'm right with you. Number 2 would be SC for me. For a lot of the same things, they're living off the high times under Pete, and they've never really come back from that, and yet they're still talked about as somewhat of a national powerhouse, and it just doesn't pan out.
You mean John David Booty?
Yeah.
Wasn't the quarterback of the century?
Heck,
I mean, with a name like that,
Yeah.
I can't believe he didn't turn
That's
out.
right. I forgot.
Number 1 for me is Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I actually, Brian Kelly drives me crazy. He does. I kind of went off on it this last weekend with Harbaugh, because Harbaugh really drives me bananas. But Kelly, he comes off, like he was on Dan Patrick this morning, he comes off on media interviews and stuff pretty like a cool guy. But when I see him on the sidelines and all the hot to trot and yelling at everyone, but going back to Charlie Weiss and of that, they have never been
The Weiss era, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when Rocket was there, they were a hell of a team.
Of course.
They really were.
That
but
guy was.
But you know, and my Beavers beat them. If the Beavers can beat them, geez Louise. What do you think? Number one, is you going to keep USC?
I am, but
one?
you brought up an interesting point, and I guess it's not as long lived because it's already starting to crack. But the Harbaugh thing is an interesting point. In Michigan, in the last 2 or 3 years, was assigned, right, even with rankings and stuff, was assigned a level of success
that he never saw, even sniff.
Correct. There's some that think that he may be on a hot seat here.
I should be.
Yeah.
I mean, I won't go off because I can.
Yeah.
So Michigan won for you?
Yeah, but I still want to do SC.
SC 1, 2, and 3.
I'll be honest.
So number one for me is one that you already mentioned. That would be Oregon, and the same kind of deal as SC. They were high flying under Chip Kelly, and it all came crashing back down to earth. And they haven't done much since. Yep. But Uncle Phil, with his deep pocketbooks, wants to spend money on 87 different uniforms. Yep. I think that's going to make them the talk of the national football world, just because they have all these cool and slick uniforms. But you can't put lipstick on a pig,
It's true.
It's just
you can write a lot of zeros on a check.
Yeah.
That doesn't win
And
games.
Herbert's or Hebert or whatever the hell his name is probably not a bad quarterback. I mean, he chucked the hell out of the ball last weekend, but I mean, who was he playing against?
Right.
But I and as a Beaver fan, I've got to be right there. I really do, and I tried not to let that leak into my
No,
thoughts here.
but you're again. This is coming. I live nowhere in the area, right? Obviously, I'm a Pac-12 follower and fan.
Absolutely.
But I honestly had to say Oregon, from where I sit, feels a little just over living on past successes.
Oh, most definitely. Well, boys, this has been a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, it has been. Awesome.
It has been. John, thank you very much for coming over and spending the afternoon with us. And for your working with David on
it's going to be fun.
Tech
Looking
2.
forward to it.
Absolutely. We got that coming up. We got California streaming, like I said, with the show notes for this. I'll make sure we put a link in for that.
That's
and
cool.
I think I've gotten some other links in there too. So we're really looking forward though to Tech 2, and now you guys get a little bit of a taste for John and what he's going to bring to the table. And I'm sure that when you're paired with David, who has an intellect, not to take anything away from Russ, I'm mainly talking about myself, that you can talk in things that are way above my head.
He's got an interesting background. It's going to be kind of fun.
Jeez Louise, dog.
To go through some of those topics.
It is, and to hear your guys' take on it and to learn, and I really appreciate you guys kind of bringing it down to a level that we can all take in. It's going to be great. So, Wes, you got anything else?
I got nothing.
John, you got anything?
Just to thank you guys again.
Yeah, well, thank you for joining us
here live.
It's been fun. Thank you guys very much. So this has been Kinetic Chaos Podcast number 45. We will talk to you soon.
See you in a few days.
We go. Woohoo!
All right.
Kill the stream. Wow, that was a good one. That's our longest one to date. Bye, guys. Thank you very much for watching. We appreciate it. KCP 45. See you later.